What should we expect tomorrow?
Well, this call actually fits right into Vladimir Putin's scenario. He has gotten so many concessions from Trump already on Ukraine that I think he believed that he'll get more dealing directly with Trump in this call than allowing the ceasefire issues that are outstanding to be resolved by foreign ministers or even by special envoys. Putin didn't plan this part, but he benefits from the timing because he'll be coming off a very successful Russian offensive inside Russia to drive the Ukrainian forces out of Kursk in their territory. They haven't completely eliminated the Ukrainian presence, but it's still a major victory. So the momentum's flowing in Trump's direction. No guarantee how the call will turn out, but it's stacked up for former KGB agent Vladimir Putin to do his best to manipulate Donald Trump, which he's shown himself pretty adept at in the past.
How might he do that? What's the specific concession or goal that Putin might have going into this call?
Well, I think he laid the basis for it. My guess is in the meeting with Witkoff a few days ago, which was a 3 or 4 hour meeting, according to sources, of which my guess would be Putin spoke about 75% of the time, giving his version of events and the background. Part of that Trump picked up as Russian propaganda when he said that the Ukrainian forces in Kursk were surrounded and had no chance, right, and he wanted Putin to spare them. Putin will say, I took your advice. I followed. They've withdrawn. That's fine. But I appreciate your sparing those men from the terrible decisions of Volodymyr Zelenskyy, their commander-in-chief. And I want to tell you, Mr. President, I am entirely in favor of your ceasefire proposal. It's what we've needed for a long time. There are a few technical details to work out, but I'm ready for peace, Mr. President. That's what he's going to say. Trump's going to love it, and it's bad news for Ukraine because the devil's always in the details.
Yeah, because, you know, for example, there's a headline from The Hill I'll put up about a big picture goal that's saying that Putin's real goal is to destroy NATO. And then it goes on in this piece to argue that Trump is taking the bait, including threatening withdrawal from NATO, not coming to the defense of NATO countries, failing to pay for their own defense, imposing tariffs on the EU and Canada, and repositioning 25,000 American troops from Germany to Hungary. So pick up on that in terms of, is that what we think? And I think you and I have talked about this before, Putin is really after, and how does he go about trying to get there?
Yeah, he definitely thinks he can use the Ukraine war to restructure NATO's presence, NATO's military presence in Eastern Europe, and certainly the U.S. presence as well. And I think he'll say something like, you know, Donald, we've talked about this before, but it was NATO's push against Russia that really precipitated this expansion to the east that Jim Baker said would never happen. Footnote, Mikhail Gorbachev said Baker never said that, but leaving that alone. And, you know, I know Zelenskyy wants security guarantees. We all want a lasting peace under your great leadership.
But that's when people say Trump is parroting Putin. That's the kind of thing they mean, right? Because he's literally, we've heard the president say almost exactly what you just said Putin would say. Go ahead.
Right. Let me finish. Here's the best security guarantee of all. Move NATO forces out of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Move them out of Poland. Move them back to Germany if you want. But let's avoid this confrontation between NATO and Russia. And then you and I can work out the specifics. He'll say, as Kim Jong-un did with great success, you know, NATO engages in a lot of so-called exercises near the Russian border. They're very provocative. They're very dangerous. And, you know, Mr. President, you're trying to cut your expenses in the U.S. government. You know, these are exercises you don't need and would reduce tensions between NATO and Russia if you'd eliminate them.
The tone that you're using when you speak, is that how Putin literally sounds in translation on a call like this?
Well, no, he speaks in Russian, so
but
we're
when it's
listening to a translator.
Right, I know. But is that the way he kind of goes about setting it up like that to make people, you know, be on his side?
He knows how to manipulate Donald Trump, and flattery, giving Trump all the credit, for example, in the Ukrainian withdrawal from Ukraine. It's worked before. Again, there are no guarantees tomorrow, but that's my guess of what Putin's plan going in is.
What's your fear in terms of what Trump might give up, realistically, like something that he might give in on that he shouldn't tomorrow?
Well, I think he has made clear, for example, he will not back up so-called European peacekeepers along the ceasefire line, which would be the current front lines. I think if Putin could get him to commit to that to him, that's the single most important thing, because the whole European diplomatic effort for the past several weeks has been putting together a European peacekeeping force. If Putin says, as he has said before, he will not accept that, and he gets Trump to agree with him, right, that's the effective end of European diplomacy.
Okay. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.